the 13 mysterious and strange archaeological discoveries recently found that will make you cry. Hello everyone! There are mysteries buried for thousands of years beneath the earth, quietly waiting for the day when light will shine upon them. When they are uncovered, they not only astonish the world, but also bring tears to the eyes of millions. In every bone, every shard of broken pottery, or the imprint of a tiny hand in dry clay, there are stories of people who lived, loved, suffered, and passed away long ago. But thanks to archaeology, these fates are told, not through words, but through artifacts, through the haunting and emotional passage of time. In today's video, we will explore 13 of the most fascinating and emotional archaeological discoveries recently found, remains that, behind the coldness of rocks and dirt, carry deeply moving stories. From controversial children's graves to the remnants of timeless love, get ready, because today's journey will not only take you to the past, but will also stir your heart with emotion. So, what are these discoveries? How mysterious are they? Let's begin our exploration right now. The mummy of a 5-year-old bride in China. In the long history of China, the most common funeral practice was burial. The ancients often placed specific items in graves so the deceased could enjoy them in the afterlife. Especially for those of higher social status, the items buried with them could clearly reflect their position in society. In 2003, when a construction team in Shandong Province, China, was renovating the residence of the famous calligrapher Wang Xizhi from the Eastern Jin dynasty, they discovered an ancient tomb. Inside the tomb, there were 2 very small coffins, one belonging to a 1-year-old child and the other to a 2-year-old. In another part of the tomb, archaeologists also found the remains of a 5-year-old bride. The discovery of the remains of 3 children, so young, shocked experts and led them to ask, why were they so young and found in an ancient tomb? Why had a 5-year-old girl been made a bride? After consulting related information, experts finally uncovered the mystery of this ancient tomb, revealing a tragic period in history. It turned out that the owner of the tomb was Sima Yue, the founding emperor of the Eastern Jin dynasty. The tomb was built for his beloved son, Sima Huan, and his grandson, Sima An Guo. According to the Book of Jin, one of the 24 historical books of China, compiled by Fang Xuanling and Li Yun in 648, although Sima Yue deeply loved his son Sima Huan had been suffering from chronic illness since birth. Wanting his son to become healthy quickly, Sima Yue decided to confer the title of king to Sima Huan. However, on the day of the royal conferment, Sima Huan's condition worsened, and he passed away. Soon after, Sima Yue's grandson, Sima An Guo, also died young. For Sima Yue, the death of his son was a devastating blow. As a result, he conducted a Minghun, a marriage ceremony for the dead, and buried a young bride alive with his son so that he could live happily in the afterlife. This 5-year-old bride, whose remains were later discovered by modern archaeologists, was the one who had been buried with Sima Huan. In ancient society, when a husband died, the wife would often be buried with him. But since Sima Huan died so young, the emperor chose a 5-year-old girl to be buried with his son. Sima Huan's tomb, while an invaluable archaeological discovery, serves as a painful reminder of a society where human life sometimes had no value, being used as mere tools to perform symbolic rituals and to assert power. This story not only forces us to reflect on the harsh realities of the past, but also serves as a reminder of the progress humanity has made in how we treat individuals and human rights. The tragedy of the feudal society is laid bare. A young girl at the command of the emperor was made an item of burial and left forever in that tomb. What do you think about this? It's truly tragic and also deeply troubling, right? A 400-year-old love letter on a captivating mummy. In the heart of the peaceful city of Andong in South Korea, where tree-lined streets seem to carry the imprint of time, an archaeological discovery left the world deeply moved. It wasn't a treasure of gold or silver, nor an ancient palace relic. It was a mummy of a man named Yung Tai, accompanied by a love letter over 400 years old placed on his chest. The letter, with trembling words soaked in tears, left even the hardest of archaeologists speechless. The writer of the letter was Yung Tai's wife, a woman who was pregnant and faced the agony of losing her husband at the prime of her life. The letter was not just a farewell, but also a desperate cry reaching through time and space. She wrote, "I cannot live without you. I want to go with you. Take me anywhere, to where you are." The words cut deep, making the reader feel the heartbreak, helplessness, and profound love that nothing could erase. When the mummy of Yungtai was discovered, he was about 5 feet 7 inches tall, a height that was above average for Korean men of that time. His skin, hair, and especially his mustache were remarkably well preserved, radiating a handsome appearance and strong presence. Saekwon Yim, the former director of the Andong National University Museum, even remarked that he could sense a special charm emanating from this man, as if he were still alive, still smiling somewhere between two worlds. However, the detail that caused millions of hearts to ache wasn't just the letter or Yungtai's handsome face, but the pair of shoes placed by his head, shoes woven from the very hair of his late wife. In ancient Korean literature, hair-woven shoes symbolize eternal love, a wish for the loved one to recover from illness, or a bond so deep that even souls cannot be separated. This woman didn't just write a letter. She left a part of herself literally next to her deceased husband, as if to say, "I am here. I have always been with you." To this day, the exact cause of Yungtai's death and his age at the time of passing remain unknown. Archaeologists continue to study his mummy along with 12 other mummies found in the same tomb. This only adds to the mystery, like an unfinished old film or a love song that stopped midway. The identity of the woman who wrote the letter is also still unclear, but through her trembling words, one can vividly picture a young wife full of hope, later submerged in immeasurable pain. They say history is a collection of dry numbers and dusty pages, but that moment in the ancient tomb deep underground, history became more alive than ever. It was no longer a tale of a distant past. It was the story of a person, a love, and a loss so profound that no time could ever diminish it. And when you look at the hair-woven shoes, at the mummy of Yungtai, you may see not just an archaeological artifact, but proof that true love can indeed live forever through time. The 354 layers of clothing of the female master in the ancient tomb of China. The story begins one afternoon in October 1974, when a high school teacher, sweating profusely, ran to the provincial museum to report that the school had just dug up an ancient tomb under a playground that was being renovated. This news immediately prompted the archaeologists to spring into action. Initially, they were disappointed to find that part of the tomb had been looted, leaving behind only a bronze mirror and a small white porcelain lamp. However, when they moved to the right-side tomb chamber, which remained intact and undisturbed, everything took a sudden turn. A stone tablet revealed that this was the final resting place of Huang Sheng, the first wife of Zhao Yujun, the 11th generation grandson of Song Taizu Zhao Kuangyin. Huang Sheng wasn't just a noble woman, she was also the mother of a renowned scholar of the Southern Song dynasty. Excited by this discovery, the team of archaeologists hoped to find invaluable artifacts from one of China's golden eras. But what stunned them wasn't the treasure trove, it was the extraordinary level of attention to fashion and clothing displayed by the deceased woman. When they opened the coffin, the dazzling gold jewelry adorning her body left the entire team breathless. But that wasn't even the highlight. As the examination process began, the experts found themselves working twice, or even 3 times, as hard as usual, just to remove each layer of clothing the noblewoman had worn. There were a total of 354 layers of clothing. No exaggeration. The layers included everything from undergarments, nightwear, casual clothes, formal attire, to seasonal outfits for spring, summer, fall, and winter. What was even more astonishing was that all the clothing was made from various rare materials such as silk, damask, chiffon, brocade, satin, and many others, with different styles. Sleeveless tunics, aprons, skirts, pants, and even specialized items like waistbands, considered the ancestors of modern-day sanitary pads. What was supposed to be a half-day examination turned into a 2-day affair due to the meticulous process of removing these ancient clothes. However, the effort was not in vain. Each layer of fabric was like a slice of history, allowing the researchers to gain a detailed understanding of the exquisite textile craftsmanship of the Southern Song dynasty, a skill that rivaled the famous artifacts from the Han dynasty. The thinnest piece of clothing the female master wore weighed only 0.6 ounces, light as a feather, showing how advanced the techniques for handling silk and weaving fabrics had become, reaching the level of artistry. What began as an ordinary excavation turned into a treasure trove of invaluable information about the lives, aesthetics, and traditional clothing of the noblewomen of the Song dynasty. And even though the archaeologists had to exclaim, "This is exhausting," it was clear that this was a journey through time worth every moment, where every thread of fabric carried the soul of a lost civilization. The mysterious mummy in the 6,000-year-old tomb. Hidden beneath the blazing golden sands of Egypt's desert, the Saqqara archaeological site has once again amazed the world. The latest discoveries here are not just fragments of history, but doors leading to a mysterious civilization where stories thousands of years old are waiting to be told. Over the course of 6 months of excavation, archaeologists uncovered 7 ancient tombs, buried deep beneath the mountainside south of Cairo. Among these tombs were dozens of mummified cats, rare scarab beetles, strange statues, and limestone coffins that had remained intact for 6,000 years. Did you know that in ancient Egyptian beliefs, cats were revered almost as divine creatures? They were not only companions but also sacred protectors, mummified and offered to the gods. In 3 tombs dedicated solely to mummified cats, researchers found over 100 wooden, gold-plated cat statues and a pure copper statue of the cat goddess Bastet. In addition to these cat statues, there were also statues of lions, hawks, and bulls, sacred symbols representing power and strength in ancient Egyptian culture. But that wasn't the most surprising part. Inside a recently discovered rectangular limestone coffin, they found the mummified remains of a scarab beetle. Yes, this seemingly insignificant insect had a very important role in ancient Egyptian spirituality. To them, the scarab represented rebirth and the transformation of the soul after death. This was the first time archaeologists had encountered such a well-preserved mummified scarab beetle, and the coffin was even sealed with drawings of the beetle, an extremely rare and unique artifact. But the surprises didn't stop there. One of the remaining 4 tombs was identified as that of Khufu Imhotep, who held the position of overseeing the royal palaces. This tomb was built during the 5th dynasty, around 2500 to 2350 BC, shortly after the Great Pyramid of Giza was completed. Mr. Mostafa Waziri, the Secretary General of the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities, stated that the tomb is likely still intact, and the research team plans to continue excavation in the coming weeks. This could lead to even more groundbreaking discoveries. In addition to the mummies and statues, the archaeologists also discovered a variety of unique items, such as wooden coffins shaped like cobras and crocodiles, intricate necklaces, ancient writing tools, canopic jars for preserving the internal organs of the mummies, and various amulets with complex designs. These all serve as pieces of a magical puzzle, bringing to life a civilization that ruled for over 2 millennia. If these discoveries are not just a priceless gift to the field of archaeology, but also a glimmer of hope for Egypt's tourism industry, which has struggled in recent years due to political instability, then it certainly isn't an exaggeration. With international visitor numbers increasing by 54% last year, local authorities are optimistic that Saqqara will become a major attraction, drawing tourists back to explore the memories of the ancient pharaohs. Saqqara, not just a cemetery, but a treasure trove of mysteries that have yet to reveal all their secrets. And with every excavation, time seems to reverse, taking us back to a distant past, where untold stories are still waiting to be awakened. If you're someone who loves exploration and is drawn to the mysteries of the past, I believe a journey to this site would be the perfect adventure for you. The ancient tomb that rewrites history on the Danube River. In the Geisingen-Gutmadingen district of Tuttlingen, located in the southwestern part of Germany, an archaeological discovery has recently rocked the fields of history and archaeology. Archaeologists unearthed a tomb dating back to the 3rd millennium BCE from the Neolithic period, containing distinctive pottery items from the corded ware culture. This is not just a simple discovery. It opens a time portal that allows us to look back into the distant past and transforms our understanding of the development of human history. But the story doesn't end there. As the excavation continued in the area, experts uncovered even more graves, dating from the 6th century CE, the medieval period. with approximately 140 tombs. Each grave contained artifacts such as swords, spears, shields, bone combs, drinking cups, and earrings, all vivid proof of a time marked by turmoil and change. Mayor Martin Numberger remarked, "Our Gutmedingen is probably much older than we had imagined." This discovery not only changes our perspective on local history, but also forces historians to revise earlier records, which stated that people only began living in this region in 1273. The remarkable aspect of this find is the presence of artifacts from the corded ware culture, an ancient civilization known for its geometric decorative pottery made by pressing cord patterns into clay and allowing it to dry. This culture was also distinguished by advanced agricultural practices, particularly cattle and sheep husbandry and barley cultivation. These discoveries help scientists better understand the development and expansion of the corded ware civilization into other areas. And this isn't just a story about ancient artifacts, it's a testament to the interaction between cultures, the blending of ancient communities, and the way they helped form the cultural heritage of modern Europe. Moreover, the medieval graves uncovered paint a vivid picture of a significant transitional period in European history. During this time, the Germanic lord Odoacer deposed the Roman Emperor Romulus Augustus, marking the end of the Roman Empire and the beginning of the migration period. This was a time when tribes moved across Europe, conquering new lands, engaging in battles, and gradually shaping the map and social structure of modern Europe. All of these discoveries in Gutmedingen, including the rich collection of artifacts, represent a priceless archaeological treasure, not just for Germany, but for all of Europe and the world. They provide a fresh perspective on a period of history that we thought we knew well, but in reality, still hides stories and secrets waiting to be uncovered. And these discoveries, whether large or small, serve as a reminder that history still has much to tell, and every step forward in exploring the past is an invaluable step in understanding ourselves. The 400-year-old ghost ship in the Baltic Sea still amazes with its perfect preservation. In the icy waters of the Baltic Sea, where sunlight barely penetrates the deep waters, a mystery that has baffled the world for decades has finally been solved. In the middle of 2011, a group of treasure hunters from Finland used radar to scan the ocean floor and unexpectedly discovered a strange object 278 feet beneath the surface. Its unusual shape, smooth surface, and symmetry led many to believe it was a UFO, a flying object that had crashed into the sea. Conspiracy theories erupted, strange images spread across the internet, and the mystery quickly became a hot topic across Europe. However, after nearly a decade submerged in the cold waters, in 2020, an international research team consisting of veteran divers, archaeologists, and maritime historians, led by Professor Nicholas Eriksson from Stockholm University, was determined to uncover the truth. Hours-long dives and continuous research finally revealed the secret. The UFO at the bottom of the Baltic Sea was actually the remains of a three-masted ship called the Swan, built in 1636 during the Dutch Golden Age of maritime exploration. What astonished archaeologists was the condition of the ship. After 400 years at the bottom of the sea, the Swan remained almost completely intact, as if it had just been sunk yesterday. The Dutch coat of arms was still clearly visible on the hull, and the inscriptions revealing the identity of the crew had not been erased by time. It was as though the ship had been preserved in a time capsule, taking us back to an era when the Netherlands ruled the oceans. But the surprises didn't end there. As we moved our gaze away from the Baltic Sea, another secret was revealed across the continent, this time in Egypt. A ghost ship from ancient Egypt was discovered beneath the legendary city of Thonis, or Herakleion, as it was known to the Greeks. Once a bustling trade center on the Nile, the city now lies in ruins beneath layers of mud and stone in the Abu Qir Bay. The 82-foot ship was found amid the ruins of the Temple of Amun. Buried after an earthquake and tsunami caused the city to disappear in the 2nd century BCE. Miraculously, despite being buried beneath over 16 feet of clay, the ship's structure remained perfectly intact thanks to the tomb of hard stone and earth surrounding it. Built using a technique known as mortise and tenon, an ancient method that ensured a perfect bond between wooden planks, the ship was likely a commercial vessel that the Greeks used to transport goods along the Nile. Along with the ship, a wealth of valuable artifacts was discovered. Intricately decorated pottery, gold amulets shaped like the god Bes, the protector of women and children in Egyptian culture. Together, these items paint a vibrant picture of cultural, commercial, and religious exchange between two great civilizations in human history. Two ships, one in the cold waters of northern Europe and one beneath the sands of Egypt, are like two stories from different worlds but share a common theme. They are silent witnesses to time, living legacies of a glorious and complex past. And as we continue to explore, we realize that the depths of the sea hold more than just ancient shipwrecks. They conceal untold histories that have yet to be shared. A 2,000-year-old fast food restaurant. Amid the ashes of a city buried for over 2 millennia, a special story has recently been told, not through books or legends, but through a fast food restaurant. Yes, you heard that right. In the ancient city of Pompeii, Italy, once destroyed entirely by the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 CE, archaeologists have uncovered a fast food restaurant that dates back 2,000 years. The astonishing part is that it remains almost perfectly preserved, lying dormant beneath a thick layer of ash as if waiting for the day it could reopen. That moment finally arrived. On August 12th of last year, this ancient fast food restaurant officially reappeared to the public, opening a time portal that transported visitors back to the busy, vibrant life of Pompeii in ancient times. Located in the Regio 5 archaeological zone, within the ruins of the ancient Roman Empire, this establishment is considered an ancient version of today's roadside eateries. The Romans called it a thermopolium, a place where people, especially the working class, could stop for a quick, inexpensive meal that was still filling. What amazed archaeologists was how well preserved the counter area and the surrounding space were. Remnants found in clay pots, containers, and on the counter surfaces still bear traces of pork, fish, snails, and even beef, foods that were commonly found on the menu at the time. From this, modern people can begin to imagine the tastes, eating habits, and daily rhythms of the Romans thousands of years ago. The volcanic disaster in 79 CE claimed the lives of between 2,000 and 15,000 people and buried the entire city of Pompeii under a thick layer of ash. But it was this very ash that turned out to be a miraculous natural preservative, keeping everything from everyday objects to architectural structures and even human footprints intact. As a result, Pompeii is not just a historical site, it is also a time machine that allows us to vividly and realistically return to the ancient Roman period. Since the 16th century, when the Pompeii site was first excavated, only about 2/3 of the archaeological area has been uncovered. This means that hundreds, possibly thousands of other stories remain hidden beneath the earth, waiting to be awakened. And if a simple fast food restaurant can evoke such emotion, how far will the remaining mysteries take us in the grand flow of history? This is a difficult question to answer, but it certainly reminds us of the countless secrets from the past that remain waiting to be discovered. The 2,500-year-old princess mummy. In the frozen, desolate land of Siberia, where cold winds slice through the mountains, an ancient mystery has been awakened after a 2,500-year-long slumber. It is the mummy of a princess, a woman known as the eternal muse of the Altai steppe. Discovered in 1993 on the Ukok Plateau, located at an elevation of over 8,200 feet, the Pazyryk princess mummy quickly became one of the most impressive archaeological discoveries in the world. Not only was she preserved almost perfectly, but the strange and haunting details surrounding her, which captivated both scientists and the public alike, left everyone in awe. The young princess, who died at around 25 years old, was buried ceremoniously inside a wooden tomb, accompanied by 6 horses and many valuable treasures. However, what amazed the world most were the perfectly preserved tattoos on her skin, despite the passage of time and the thick layers of ice. These intricate patterns are described as highly artistic, and remarkably, they resemble modern tattoo styles. This has led archaeologists to wonder, how could ancient people have had such advanced techniques and aesthetics? According to scientists, the Pazyryk princess might have been one of the first recorded cases of breast cancer. Traces of the disease were discovered through the analysis of remaining bone tissue, offering a humanizing and heartbreaking glimpse into the short yet mysterious life of this woman. However, the story doesn't end there. When the mummy was removed from her tomb and displayed in a museum in 2016, a wave of fierce opposition erupted from the local Altai community. They believed that exposing the body and the princess's demonic tattoos could unleash an evil spirit and bring disaster to the region. It sounds far-fetched, but strangely, shortly after the mummy was exhumed and moved, the area began to experience a series of unusual natural disasters: earthquakes, flash floods, and hailstorms, things that had never occurred before. Local residents began to speculate that the princess's soul was angry for being disturbed from her thousand-year sleep. Pleas were made to the authorities to return her to her final resting place where she truly belonged. Whether it is superstition or mere coincidence, the story of the Ice Princess is not only a vivid chapter in history, but also a haunting reminder of the fragile boundary between science and the spiritual world, between discovery and respect for the past. The Vanishing Village in the Dubai Desert. Dubai, a name that evokes grandeur, wealth, and sky-high, extravagant buildings. It is known for its towering skyscrapers, expensive supercars, and one of the world's most luxurious lifestyles. However, hidden deep behind the city lights, beyond the bustling roads and modern urban areas, lies a completely different world. A vast, desolate, and serene desert, where time seems to stand still. In this setting, there is a place that sends chills down the spine of both scientists and explorers alike: the town of Gigi, known as the Ghost Town in the Dubai Desert. Gigi is unlike anywhere you've ever known. By day, it appears to be an ordinary ancient village with a few modest buildings and faint remnants of life that once existed. But as night falls, something strange happens. The entire village disappears. Not a single roof, not a single trace, not a soul in sight. Everything seems to be swallowed up by darkness and dust. Even with modern equipment, its exact location cannot be pinpointed at night. This phenomenon has earned Gigi not only the title of Ghost Town, but also the name of the unsolved mystery of the Middle Eastern desert. Many scientists, scholars, and geologists have visited the site in hopes of explaining this peculiar phenomenon. Some believe it is the result of a powerful desert mirage, where the reflective light causes the town to vanish when temperatures drop at night. Others insist that the desert sands themselves are the culprits, claiming that the terrain and strong winds cause the sand to quickly cover the village during the night and reveal it again in the morning. However, none of these hypotheses are entirely convincing. All the measuring and observation equipment yields inconsistent results, making Gigi even more elusive, as if it exists only on the fragile boundary between reality and illusion. Historical records state that Gigi was once home to a small community of people hundreds of years ago. However, after a period of overexploitation and environmental destruction, the inhabitants were forced to migrate, leaving the town in ruin and gradually fading into obscurity. The sand, wind, and time seem to have completed the work, burying each house, each road, and every memory of a bygone era. It is also due to the sparse population and the ravages of nature that the strange phenomenon of the vanishing village every night began to appear, turning this place into one of the unsolved mysteries of the modern world. Today, Gigi has become a destination for adventurous tourists and explorers, though most only dare to visit during the day. No one is brave enough to stay after the sun sets, as rumors of the nighttime curse in the area have never been disproven. The ghost town in the Dubai Desert continues to challenge science, fueling imagination and sparking an endless curiosity about the things humans have yet to touch in this vast world. The 300-year-old pink stone coffin. More than 3,000 years ago, during the glorious reign of ancient Egypt under Pharaoh Ramses II, a powerful man passed away. However, his death didn't just leave a mark on history. It also left behind an invaluable treasure for future generations. An ancient tomb near Cairo, containing a marvelous pink granite coffin, was discovered by archaeologists in near-perfect condition, becoming a dream discovery. This is the story of Ptah Mwiya, a high-ranking official and the head of the treasury under Ramses the Great. Ptah Mwiya's coffin is not only a unique work of art, but also holds untold stories of power, honor, and immortality. Made of rare and exquisite pink granite, the coffin is intricately carved with mythological symbols, blending art and ancient belief in a perfect union. On the lid of the coffin, there is an image of the sky goddess Nut, with her wings spread to protect the deceased, surrounded by the four sons of the sun god Horus, encircling the coffin like guardians of Ptah Mwiya's soul. But the most special part is that this coffin is not only a piece of fine craftsmanship or a symbol of wealth, it is also a testament to the life and career of a man who had a profound influence in ancient Egyptian society. Ptah Mwiya oversaw livestock, kept royal records, and most notably was the head of the treasury, a position comparable to today's Minister of Finance. The titles and hieroglyphic inscriptions on the coffin not only confirm his identity, but also affirm his critical role in governance. Recently, archaeologist Ola El Agizi from Cairo University discovered the tomb in Saqqara, a region famous for its ancient tombs and pyramids. The tomb was originally 75 feet long and buried underground, requiring archaeologists to move tons of sand to access it. When they reached the second underground level of the tomb, the beautiful coffin was revealed, almost perfectly intact, with only part of the lid broken, indicating that it had been disturbed by tomb robbers. Despite this, luck smiled on Ptah Mwiya. Thanks to the research and preservation work of archaeologists, the coffin has been preserved almost intact for more than 3 millennia. This discovery is not only a milestone in archaeological history, but also a key that opens the door to the past, helping us better understand one of the most powerful figures in ancient Egyptian society. The journey of archaeologists is far from over. They continue to study this coffin in hopes of uncovering more secrets about Ptah Mwiya, revealing deeper stories about the life of this great man, as well as the mysteries of ancient Egyptian civilization. And it's very possible that new discoveries could change the way we view history and what has been buried beneath the earth for thousands of years. The mystery inside the 2,000-year-old mummified girl. In the serene atmosphere of the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum in San Jose, California, where thousands of years of memories from the legendary civilization along the Nile River are preserved, a tiny being lies sleeping in the heart of history. It is the mummified remains of a 5-year-old girl named Sherry by scientists, which means little one in ancient Egyptian. While her true name has been swept away by time through pieces of linen, round-shaped earrings, a necklace around her neck, and a protective amulet still resting on her chest, one can clearly sense that she was once deeply loved, and her passing was a great loss to her family. Sherry lived during the time when the Roman Empire ruled Egypt, over 2,000 years ago. Modern medical analysis suggests her death was likely caused by dysentery, a common but deadly disease for children during that period. Though she was just a small life in the vast flow of history, Sherry is opening up a timeless journey of exploration, thanks to the combination of archaeology and the most advanced technology of today. Since 2015, researchers at the museum have used CT scans to observe the inside of the mummy without damaging any of its preservation materials. But the true breakthrough occurred when they applied modern 3D scanning technology with the Artec EVA device, a handheld scanner that can capture highly detailed color images and surface textures that CT scanners could not. What's amazing is that, without even touching the mummy, every contour and surface detail was vividly recreated, as if real. Data from both scanning technologies, CT and 3D, were then integrated into a complete digital model using specialized software from Volume Graphics. The result was an incredibly detailed and realistic 3D model of the mummy, bringing viewers closer to Sherry than ever before, not only with their eyes but also with emotion and understanding. Thanks to this model, museum visitors are no longer limited by glass enclosures or dim lights. They can hold an iPad in their hands and move around the mummy to view the scanned layers displayed right on the screen. Each part of the body, every burial artifact, appears as if it's alive, as though you're truly touching a forgotten story that has lasted more than 2 millennia. But perhaps the most important aspect is not just the technology, but how these advancements are allowing us to listen to the voices from the past. Sherry is no longer an anonymous mummy lying in the dark. She has become a figure with her own story, the story of a child who passed away from illness but is preserved by future generations with the utmost respect. Christoph Reinhardt, the CEO of Volume Graphics, shared that this new scanning technology not only opens doors for archaeology but also marks an important step in biology, geology, and paleontology. Houses with many holes in the desert. In the endless desert, where dry and harsh land stretches as far as the eye can see, water is scarce and rain is even rarer, making it nearly impossible for life to thrive. Yet, on the slopes of the northern Sinai Desert in Egypt, many strange small brick houses can be found. Though they are in ruins, these houses are proof of human presence in this barren land. After investigating, researchers revealed that these brick houses were built with a very special purpose. These brick houses were constructed by the Bedouin people. Bedouins are Arab tribes that traditionally lead a nomadic lifestyle in the desert. This tribe has lived in the desert for thousands of years. The term Bedouin is the anglicized version of the Arabic word Bedu, meaning people of the desert or nomads. Bedouins typically make a living by raising camels, and they frequently move according to the seasons and along fixed routes. Their nomadic journeys can stretch up to 621 miles at a time. Due to the long travel times and distances, the Bedouins in Sinai developed a method of building small brick houses along the paths they traveled. Most of these houses are rectangular with vaulted roofs. The roofs and walls are punctuated by many small holes. These houses are typically about 6.5 feet high and appear quite old. While the number of these brick houses is not large, they are scattered across the desert. Upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that the houses differ in certain details. These differences indicate that various Bedouin groups constructed them. The question arises, what were these brick houses used for? According to the Bedouins, these houses were built with a very specific purpose, to act as landmarks. We can think of them as lighthouses in the desert. Their function is similar to that of lighthouses at sea. In the past, before GPS systems existed, ships navigating vast seas could easily lose their way, especially when storms struck. However, as long as a lighthouse was in sight, ships could find their way safely back to port, no matter how strong the storm. The desert is as vast as the sea, and without careful navigation, people could easily get lost. Therefore, the Bedouins built these desert lighthouses. As long as someone lit a fire inside one of them, anyone lost in the desert could follow the light to safety. Ancient mysteries found in the Turkmenistan desert. Over 4,000 years ago, the fortress town of Gonur Tepe may have been a rare civilization before it was buried for centuries beneath the sands of the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan. After being rediscovered by Soviet archaeologists in the last century, Gonur Tepe, once home to thousands of people and a thriving center of development, has gradually revealed its mysteries with each new excavation season. The site is enormous, spanning over 74 acres, and can only be fully appreciated from the air. From above, the town's old buildings resemble a labyrinth in the desert, surrounded by high walls. Located just 31 miles from the ancient city of Merv and outside the city of Mary, the ruins of Gonur Tepe are a testament to the archaeological wealth of Turkmenistan, one of the most isolated countries in the world. Around 2000 BC, Gonur Tepe was the primary settlement of the Margush or Margiana region and contained one of the highest and least known ancient civilizations of the Bronze Age. The site was discovered by the famous Soviet archaeologist Viktor Saryanidi. At the age of 84, he still intends to continue working at the site for one more summer excavation season. Each archaeological season at Gonur Tepe brings important discoveries, showcasing the highly developed craftsmanship of Bronze Age artisans who once inhabited the town. Gonur Tepe was the center of a network of towns and settlements within the Morghab River Delta, which flows through Turkmenistan from its source in Afghanistan. The site is about a 3-hour drive from the city center of Mary, passing through now dormant collective farms. Mary, located 236 miles from the capital Ashgabat, is a typical provincial city in Turkmenistan with a population of 200,000 people. It was primarily built in Soviet style, featuring connected railroads and low-rise apartment buildings. About 19 miles from Mary lies another remarkable site in the region, the ruins of the city of Merv, which was once a major hub under the Persian Empire and reached its peak under Turkic leadership in the 12th century AD. Merv gradually declined after being plundered by the Mongol army in 1221, during a deadly conquest that resulted in tens of thousands of deaths. The ruins of Merv now stand in silence, much like those of Gonur Tepe. The largest treasure of the site is the tomb of Seljuk Sultan Sanjar, which has been carefully preserved. During his reign, Merv had a population of 200,000 and was one of the world's most populous settlements. According to architect and historian Ruslan Muradov of Turkmenistan, the tomb has a diameter of over 56 feet and itself represented a revolutionary design in architecture, dating back to the era when Turkmenistan was still a frontier of the Russian Empire. It was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999. According to Victor Tariq, a historian working at the Mary History Museum, archaeologists have only uncovered a small portion of the rich archaeological sites in the Mary region. Though Turkmenistan remains one of the most isolated countries in the world, it still attracts many tourists each year, mostly through specially organized tours. Mary has only 3 hotels, though the president of Turkmenistan recently ordered the construction of a 350-room hotel to boost tourism. Meanwhile, there remain unanswered questions about what to do with the gold and silver artifacts that have been uncovered in the area, which will require a careful process of restoration and conservation. An employee who requested anonymity from the Turkmenistan National Heritage Agency mentioned that a conservation project had once been planned in collaboration with the Louvre Museum in Paris, but it was unsuccessful. The mysteries of the past have never ceased to captivate the modern world. From deep, desolate soil to the ruins quietly resting at the bottom of the ocean, every archaeological discovery is a precious piece of history, bringing to light forgotten stories. Archaeologists and scientists have tirelessly worked for years, overcoming harsh terrains to deliver to us breathtaking moments as we touch a part of the soul of the past. Have you ever wondered how many stories are still buried, unknown to the world? In today's video, we will embark on a journey to explore some of the most unusual and groundbreaking archaeological discoveries recently revealed. Ancient sites that not only unveil historical information, but also evoke deep emotions in the viewers. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, like, and subscribe to the channel to continue joining us on future journeys into the mysteries of time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.